Number 10, there is no new Assassin's Creed game coming in 2019, and that sounds like it's not a great announcement, or it's weird that this is looked at as a positive announcement, at least. But the reason we got Assassin's Creed Origins and Assassin's Creed Odyssey back to back is because the team was separated and working on both of them at the same time. It was actually quite a while ago that Ubisoft made the decision not to do a yearly Assassin's Creed game, and Odyssey is going to get support with new content and quality of life fixes as necessary over the course of a couple of years, which is great, actually. Instead of just pushing out as many Assassin's Creed games as they can, they're just focusing on the quality of this one. That's, wonderful. That's basically a different philosophy. And considering how good Origins actually was, which was very good, I think October 5th will probably be a pretty good day for Assassin's Creed fans. Number 9, Star Citizen is free to try over the weekend. That's like saying it's free to try Zeus. It's a myth. We've talked so much about Star Citizen over the years, it feels like some kind of monolith, and you can try for free. Now, does that mean it's a final version of the game? No, but it's amazing that this is the point that this frankly overly ambitious game is at after all of these years. And while there's still reasons to be skeptical of the game, it's also real. You can play it without even paying for it at the moment, which is wild. It ends on Monday, of course, but I would definitely recommend trying it, even if just to say you've played it. Number 8, we got gameplay of Resident Evil 2 from the perspective of Claire, and lordy, it is just, really cool. It's nothing you don't know about, but at the same time it really looks functional and better, and the graphics are beautiful and amazing. It's Resident Evil 2, but it's modern, and the acting is really good, and it manages to bring me back as well as wow me in a new way, and I am so ready to play this. Number 7, we got the Shenmue 3 release date. Specifically, it's coming on August 27th, 2019. And I have to say, I'm just beyond intrigued on what Shenmue 3 ends up being. With the release of the, up-resed versions of 1 and 2, which are, by the way, very good games. But we saw the seams, I think, and it's going to be so interesting to see them actually resolve the story from those games without modifying the game on such a level that it becomes something totally different, while still managing to work in the modern gaming era as a good game. Honestly, I think that resolving the series years later is actually good, because all of the ideas and experience from other games that sprang forth from the Shenmue development, such as the Yakuza series, which is phenomenal, have put more tools in the Shenmue 3 developers toolkit. I love 1 and 2, and I think it's going to be really cool to play 3. Number 6, we got gameplay from The Surge 2, which, by the way, is something I definitely wanted to see. The Surge is a great game. Honestly, to me, it looks like they've really upped it a little bit for whatever reason. It seems faster to me, although I definitely can't say whether or not that's the truth. I haven't played it, and The Surge is a little bit more hectic than Dark Souls, albeit a good take on that type of gameplay. Honestly, I'm happy for more Surge. I feel like the trailer perfectly captured what made the first one good, as well as just brought the brutality in a good way. Number 5, appropriately so, Devil May Cry 5 saw a large amount of activity. First, we got a new trailer, which is, it's Devil May Cry, it's a trailer, it's stylistic, it's fast-paced, it's very cool. And we also got a release date for the game, which will be coming March 8th, 2019 for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. But more importantly, people got to play it, and we've actually seen some footage of the game in action. It is absolutely delightful to watch. It comes off very much like classic Devil May Cry, but what's interesting is it does actually bring in a couple of things from DMC, the reboot, that was kind of a side game. Specifically stuff from that game that I think are actually among the better additions to it, but bringing in the moving environments, for one, is very cool. And even cooler, I think, and I understand this doesn't actually affect the gameplay, but the enemy introductions, that's a thing now, which I absolutely love. It kind of gives you a little bit of a Bayonetta vibe, which, as you know, these games share more than a little DNA, but there's a lot of cool stuff as well. You actually recover arms from the environment instead of purchasing them. They give Nero different powers. Honestly, I just want to play it. I'm quite jealous of the people who got to play it at Gamescom, and it makes March seem quite a ways away. Number 4, we actually got gameplay of Call of Cthulhu. It looks in some ways like kind of a detective game combined with Dishonored, and that's a big yes from me. Now, the types of powers are obviously more along the lines of perception than the outright chaos-causing powers you get in Dishonored, and can apparently cause you to go mad, which is, I think, actually a pretty good idea for a mechanic, at least in this type of game. Obviously, we've seen it in other types of games, but not really a detective story as of yet, and also great call on making Call of Cthulhu from a detective point of view and leaning into it. The best parts about Lovecraft are all of the unknowns, and what better type of game to make about that. Number 3, CD Projekt Red showed off the progress of Cyberpunk 2077 and announced that the game internally was playable from start to finish. Now, that doesn't mean they're close to done or anything. In a large game, the game being playable from start to finish just means the beginning of making sure that is smooth. At this point, it is looking extremely slick though. We did get to see some new screenshots, and although they didn't show it off publicly, apparently they showed off some stuff from Night City at, night. And honestly, this is a game that I think, given Cyberpunk is known for the neon lights, we've kind of been waiting to see that, We also got some new concept art, and people were actually allowed to take pictures of the title screen of the game, and it is really a pleasure. Just looking at that is even cool. Number 2, Nvidia announced some new graphics cards, some high-end graphics cards. They seem very much geared towards ray tracing, which is very nice. The idea that we're going to start seeing more of that in games is very, very welcome. And none of the touring-based cards they announced are really that far off either. You can pre-order them now. They're going to be available apparently at the end of September, except one of them which will be available in October. You can look into more detailed specs for yourself, but they are impressive, and the ray tracing looks fantastic given the demo they showed. I look forward to that being the norm. And finally, number 1, we got a huge info dump on Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. First, the release date, which is March 22nd, 2019 for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Between this and DMC, March is going to be a big month, and I look forward to that quite a bit. But beyond that, we also found out that the game's going to have multiple endings, and that the New Game Plus option is going to be present, which is very good because it makes some implications about the story and about the replay value that I think personally make the game a little bit more enticing, but even more, the size and scope of the game is going to be around Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3. Now, this probably puts it somewhere between 30 to 40 hours, not necessarily from a completionist perspective, but I mean, that bodes well as far as I'm concerned. And we also got to see a lot of new gameplay, which showed off things like the stealth, the grappling hook, the faster paced action that feels still like Dark Souls, but it does have its own unique rhythm, and I appreciate that quite a bit. There's also more time spent in the air, not just from the grappling hook, but you see a lot of jumping. We saw quite a few jump kills. I don't know, it looks like a game that's going to bring a little more variety in gameplay, and being they did that, I think that lended itself to maybe less time spent on combat, but it also looks like the strategic elements remain, and that's very much kind of what makes a Dark Souls game a Dark Souls game. Still, this broadens the horizons of a Souls-like, I would say, considerably, and while I may not be 100% correct about that, I am very excited because there's enough that looks different to me that makes me really want to see how it